got this brilliant startup idea, right? That's awesome. But hang on a sec. Before you mortgage your house or quit your job, we need to talk about one crucial thing: validation. It's honestly the one thing that can make or break your entire venture. So let's get into it. I mean, think about it. We all have that next big thing floating around in our heads. But what if you pour months, maybe even years of your life into building something and nobody actually wants it? All that time, all that money, all that passion, just gone? It's a scary thought, but believe me, it happens all the time. And this quote right here, this gets to the absolute heart of it. Your great idea, no matter how amazing it sounds in your head, is just a guess until you prove otherwise. Validation is how you turn that guess into a fact. It's the secret sauce for building something people will not only use, but actually open their wallets for. All right, so here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to walk through the whole process. We'll start with why great ideas can be a trap, then nail down your problem and audience, figure out how to test it, understand the MVP, and finally look at the proof. By the end, you'll have a clear roadmap to take your idea from just a thought to a reality. So let's start with the biggest, most common trap any founder can fall into. You fall in love with your solution instead of the problem. We've all been there, right? We get so jazzed about the cool thing we're going to build that we completely forget to ask the most important question: does anyone actually need this? This is all about being smart before you write a single line of code. And this is the key. Every great startup starts with a real, painful problem. You have to ask yourself, is my idea a vitamin or a painkiller? Think about it. A vitamin is a nice to have. You might take it, you might forget. But a splitting headache? Man, you will do almost anything to get a painkiller. That is the kind of problem you want to be solving. Okay, so you found a real, genuine painkiller of a problem. Awesome. Now what? Well, now it's time to get laser focused. This isn't about trying to solve a problem for the entire world. It's about carving out your specific niche. Let's see how that works. You have to know exactly who you are building this for. And please, please don't say your product is for everyone. That's like the #1 rookie mistake. So ask yourself, who is my ideal customer? What do they do? What keeps them up at night? The more specific you can be, the easier your entire job gets. And this slide just makes it so clear, right? Everyone is, well, it's nobody. It's a blurry mess. But college students who can't manage their notes? Boom. I know who that is. I can find them. I can talk to them. Or freelancers who struggle to track clients? Yep, another super specific group with a real specific pain. That focus is your superpower. Now that you know who you're looking for, it's time for probably the most important step of all: actually talking to them. And this is a big but. There's a right way and a very, very wrong way to do this. This isn't a sales pitch. It's a fact-finding mission. This right here is the golden rule. The second you start pitching your brilliant solution, people will try to be nice. They don't want to hurt your feelings. They'll say, "Oh, wow, that's a really cool idea." I've seen it 100 times. Founders hear that, they go build the product, and then they launch to the sound of crickets. That's not validation, my friend. That is false hope. Your job is to listen, not to sell. So what do you ask? Well, questions like these. Notice how they're all open-ended? You're digging for stories and frustrations. And that last one, have you ever paid to solve this problem? Oof, that's the money question, literally. If they've never been willing to pay to fix this, it's probably not as painful as you think. Okay, you've listened to your users, you've gathered your notes, and it seems like you're really onto something. Now, the fun part. It's time to resist that huge urge to build every single feature you've ever dreamed of. Instead, you're going to build the smallest possible thing to prove you're right. It's time for the MVP. An MVP, a minimum viable product, is the smallest version of your product that still delivers real value. It is not a buggy, unfinished prototype. No, it's the version that lets you learn the most with the least amount of work. That Eric Ries's quote says it all. Maximum amount of validated learning with the least effort. That's the whole game. So why do this? Well, it saves you from building something nobody wants. It saves you time, it saves you a ton of money, and it massively reduces your risk. You know, the company Dropbox started with a simple video. They didn't even have a working product, but the video just showed how it would work. It went viral, and they got thousands of signups. That's the power of an MVP. Let's make this super concrete. Imagine you're building the very first ride-hailing app. An MVP wouldn't have surge pricing or scheduled rides or different car types. Nope. It would have a map, a button to request a ride right now, and a way to pay. That's it. You launch that to a small group, get feedback, and then you start adding more. And this is a really crucial distinction to make. The V in MVP stands for viable. It actually has to solve the core problem for the user. If it's so minimum that it's useless, it's like a car with no engine. It might look cool, but it's not going to get anyone anywhere. It has to be a real, working solution, just a very, very tiny one. So you've built your MVP. You've put it out into the world. Now for the moment of truth. Are people actually going to use it? This is where you have to stop relying on opinions and conversations and start looking at the cold, hard data. And here's the thing. Real validation is not someone telling you they like your idea. It's them clicking the buy button. It's them signing up. It's them giving you their email address for a pre-order. You've got to track things like conversion rates, user engagement, actions. These are the numbers that will tell you the real story. At the end of the day, this is what it all comes down to. You can have 100 people tell you your idea is great, but the data tells the truth. A perfect example is Instagram. It started as a complicated location-based app called Bourbon, but they looked at the data and realized people were only using the photo sharing feature. So they pivoted, stripped everything else away, and, well, the rest is history. And that's the question you have to be asking yourself constantly. If the numbers aren't what you hoped for, don't panic. That is not failure. That's learning. It's a sign that you need to adjust, maybe pivot your idea, and test again. You're just one step closer to finding what people will truly love. So, let's wrap this all up. What's the takeaway? Just remember this simple loop. Start with a real, painful problem. Talk to users before you build anything. Test your assumptions with a small MVP. Measure what people actually do. And then be ready to adjust, pivot, and do it all over again. The best startups aren't just built on dreams. They're built on a solid foundation of data. So what are you going to do to validate your amazing idea? Because you don't need luck. You just need validation. Now go out there and get it.